All right, here is part three to the message. What got your mind towed up? Yes, I know it's kind of, you know, yeah, different title, but okay. Continuing along, Proverbs chapter 4:23 states, "Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life." Okay, I'm going to say this again. It says, "Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it springs the issue of life." So, in relation to John chapter 6:63 and Proverbs 18:20 through 21, it's talking about life. So in Proverbs chapter 4:23, it says, "Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it springs the issue of life." If someone's speaking death to you, how are you going to be able to have a productive spring within you to give life to other people? For your heart determines how your spring is. And if your heart is not connected with life, then your spring is not going to be flowing fruitful and beneficial words to people. Okay? So, I took from that verse the word diligence. And the definition the definition that I received out of diligence is, you are being, with your heart, you are being careful. With your heart, you are being persistent. With your heart, you are working and being effective. Effort, having effectiveness. So, it's saying you have to basically protect your heart at all costs. You can't let nothing get to your heart, because what happens? If someone's emotions or feelings are being shown and someone talks down on them of the emotions and feelings that they are showcasing, what happens? Their heart is going to feel miserable. They're not going to want to communicate no more. That's why females nowadays have a whole bunch of insecurities, because they gave their heart, in which it says you're supposed to keep your heart with all diligence, careful. That's why females have given their heart to somebody that they like, for the flesh, for fleshful desires, in which the flesh profits nothing. What I just said in the previous video, the flesh profits nothing, but females give their hearts away, or males give their hearts away to females, in which they love so much, and in which is fake love. It's not agape love. But they give their hearts because they want to showcase that they would do anything for that person, in which I was in this situation through my past relationship. But we're not going to get into all that. But when you give your heart away, you try to do everything that you can do in order to keep that person around. Yes, you are showing true love, but you're doing it the wrong way, because that person is probably not your wife or your husband. So in the eyes of God, God's not seeing that as acceptable in the kingdom, because he wants you to be up under his divine covenant, in which it is formed by, walking down the aisle, saying I do in front of a licensed preacher and things of that nature and so forth. So, once you decide to do things without the will of the Lord, that's when you are doing and killing your own spring of life, because you giving that person your heart freely, and neither one of y'all are truly connected to the Father like that. That's why things break apart. It may not be now. It may be 10 years from now, and then your relationship just break apart. Oh, my baby daddy, he don't love me, all that nonsense, And it's like how society has it, where they paint this picture that like marriage isn't acceptable. Marriage is gonna break apart. God isn't in existence right now, so we can just do what we want with all these liberals and like these liberal like scholars who go around just saying, oh, do what you want and like YOLO all day every day. So you have to realize that your heart is precious, because out of your heart springs life. Smiles, being joyful, open up to people freely, being yourself, doing things that you've never done before, So you have to be real careful how you allow somebody to treat you. If it's not in a relationship, stasis or status or formality, if it's just somebody like that you're around, co-worker, you have to protect your heart. And like the way to protect your heart is to protect what you hear and allow for it to manifest into your spirit. So you have to watch what you see and hear, for they are in conjunction with, in relation to how your spirit is transformed and operating. All right, and I broke down and I got the definition of spring. And spring is move or jump suddenly, upward or forward. And the other definition, between winter or summer. I know you're probably like, where he going with that? As I stated probably in the previous video. Or, it's hot or cold. So since spring, in relation to the season, is between winter or summer, in which, winter is cold and summer is hot. It all determines on if your heart has been affected positively or negatively. So if your heart is affected positively, then you gonna speak warmth. You're gonna speak hot, like warm, hot. So you're gonna speak like you're gonna speak life to people. Like you're gonna be humble, you're gonna be warm, you're gonna be caring, you're gonna be, hey, how you doing? Or do you need anything? Blah 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 blah. In that nature. If your heart was affected negatively, then what? You're gonna be cold to people. You're not gonna be open. You're not gonna do things that you should be doing in a relation to helping people. You're gonna be like you're gonna be bitter. You're gonna be shut in. You're not gonna be open when people ask what's wrong, when they see a frown upon your face. So that's where I was going in relation to spring being in between winter and cold. Like depending on how people have talked to you and what you allow people to say to you, and you allowing what they say to you to affect your character, is going to determine if you're going to be a hot or cold person. What temperature are you? I mean, some say they warming and caring, but inside they cold, can't be touched. You going if you touch someone's chest, I bet your hand will freeze up right now. So like as well as, move or jump suddenly, upward or forward, positive. You're not going to be subtle to just jump up at people. You're not going to be subtle to be like, oh, what you say to me, man, I'll knock you out. You see what I'm saying? So, in a negative way, if your heart is affected, with death, then you're going to jump at whatever anybody say to you. If it's negative, oh, what you say about my mama? And things like that. Like people get angry, so like they just jump up at you, and you wouldn't even see it coming, because their hearts has been affected, and in their spirit, it's not producing life. It's not producing what the will of the Lord wants us to do as human beings. All right, so I pray that, I have illustrated like the portions in relation to like the biblical text correctly. The next portion of this, I will be speaking on like the parables in relation to what I just spoke on through these 3 parts of the video. So stick around for that, and I'll be right back, coming back at you. All right.